Based on the fact that the last episode was written by Dave Filoni, we knew we were in for some great things, and I'll tell you one thing, we were not disappointed. With the best decision, combined with an emotional story, that Star Wars could have ever made here, in my opinion. The episode begins on a desert planet with the children of the Watch who are training. It's kind of nice to see so many Mandalorians in one place after the purge of Mandalore. We also see Bo-Katan, who feels a bit out of place, as does Grogu, who plays a little with stones or crabs. But Mando wants him to train with the other foundlings, although Grogu doesn't quite know what to think, because he's now supposed to fight another young Mandalorian with arrows, and then he's also insulted by him for not having a helmet. But Din defends him, because he's still too young to swear by the code, and therefore too young to wear a helmet. Still, Mando is fully convinced that Grogu can do it, but he gets hit immediately, and then again. But Din encourages him to use his powers, and he pretty much destroys the other Mandalorian. But then a flying beast comes and takes the boy with it. The Mandalorians follow with their jetpacks, and I get real Game of Thrones vibes from the monster flying around. However, the fuel of the jetpacks is not enough to follow the beast, but there's also Bo-Katan with her Comrade-class starfighter, which follows the creature to its nest. Bo-Katan says that they can climb these peaks because they're no higher than those of Kirimurut, a detail that probably pleased fans of the Old Republic books in particular. They will be accompanied by the Shriek-Hawk training team. The Shriek-Hawk, by the way, plays a very interesting role in the culture of the Mandalorians, because this nocturnal bird, native to Mandalore, is not only the symbol of the Death Watch, but the jade eyes, which Captain Rex for example wears on his helmet, come also from the Shriek-Hawk. So they all set off, but Grogu stays here, and I have the feeling that he's actually taken seriously by the others. He explores the caves of the Children of the Watch a little, and the armorer explains everything to him. About the Mandalorian culture and the way they formed the steel, they also formed themselves. The Mandalorians were also once like raw ore, and hardened themselves through hard trials. And as it did with Din, the Forge also triggered something in Grogu. A flashback to Order 66, a scene we've actually been waiting over a year to see resolved, as we finally learn who was lurking behind the door. A bunch of clones. The Jedi are clearly aware of how important Grogu is, because they talk about the need to get him to Kelleran, for which they actually sacrifice their lives, and there he stands. The Jedi who rescued Grogu from the temple, Kelleran Beq, and here I have to say, in all honesty, that was the best decision Star Wars could have ever made here, but more on that later. We see him send off the clones with some great Jar Kai lightsaber action until they escape in a bark speeder, giving us an impressive shot at a burning Jedi temple. However, they are pursued by gunships, and somehow I get the feeling that Grogu likes this joyride. But you also have to remember that he is almost 30 years younger here than in The Mandalorian. They turn and manage to escape the clones, for now, and then come out right at Umate, the highest peak on Coruscant, which we already saw in the last episode as well as Clone Wars. From here we can already see the Nubian ship, as well as Royal Naboo guards who stop the clones and presumably sacrifice their lives to allow Grogu and Kelleran to escape. But what was so special about it? Well, we'll have to backtrack a little on that, because the actor of Jedi Meister Kelleran Beq, Ahmed, is not only known for a small appearance in episode 2, but especially for his role as Jar Jar Binks. Yes, indeed. The Jedi who saved Grogu is really Jar Jar, so at least it's the same actor, which makes for a moving story, because you might know that episode 1 or the prequels in general really didn't go down well with the fans at the time. Among other things, because they hated the role of Jar Jar. Hate that also went over to Best, who was just doing his job and playing a role, but still got daily death threats and comments that he had destroyed people's childhoods. Which was of course very hard for the then 25-year-old, which even went so far that he abandoned a suicide attempt at the last second. Ahmed tells the story in a 10-minute monologue on YouTube, which I can only recommend to you and which is of course also linked in the info card and in the description. If you're not comfortable with the topic, I recommend that you watch the video together with another person. Ahmed then impersonated Jedi Master Kelleran Beq for the first time in 2020 as the host of the game show Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge, in which kids have to overcome obstacles to complete their Jedi training. In doing so, I now think it's just awesome that this character Yoda was introduced into canon and in what way, which turned Ahmed Best from the most hated person in Star Wars to the hero who saved probably the most loved character at his most vulnerable moment, which makes the entire flashback not only an impressive scene but also a great story. And there's the Blacksmith ready with the first part of a Mandalorian armor for Grogu, apart from his chainmail. A rondel, of course, with the mudhorn as its symbol. But back at the rescue party, they have already set out and are setting up a camp at the foot of the mountain on whose summit the creature's nest is located. At the bonfire in the evening, Bo-Katan still seems a little unhelpful, because she doesn't know how to eat properly, whereupon Din explains to her that you simply go away where no one can see you and then take off your helmet and eat. But since Bo-Katan is the leader of the troop, she is allowed to stay by the fire. This would have been the perfect moment for a flashback of Bo-Katan, which I would have liked to see her, for example, together with her sister or from her time at the Death Watch. But unfortunately, this was not done. The next day dawned and the rescue party climbed the mountain, completely without jetpacks, as these could scare the creature and thus pose danger to the boy. Pez Vizsla reached the top first, and I just thought to myself, wow, this is a thick nest, almost like in Jedi Fallen Order. Inside there are some Mandalorian helmets but no sign of the boy, but Din recognizes a source of heat. Pez Vizsla rushes forward, where we are also confirmed that the boy is his son and that his name is Ragnar. But the heat camera didn't reveal his son, but baby chickens, which do look kinda cute. But then the big bird comes and spits out young Ragnar to feed the little ones. But Pez Vizsla throws himself in between them, which causes trouble for both of them. Bo-Katan manages to free Pez first, and then they tie the bird up. First the mouth or the beak, and then the wing, while Mando then manages to save Ragnar, and the bird plunges into the water and is eaten by a bigger fish. At the end, there's also a little reconciliation between Mando and Pez. We know that their relationship was not always the easiest. When they return, they are celebrated by everyone, and even the armorer is nice to Bo-Katan, and she even says the words, "This is the way." I don't quite know what to make out of that, because what I always liked about Bo-Katan was that she was different. And yes, they also have brought some new foundlings with them. Since Bo-Katan had lost the shoulder plate in the fight against the flying beast, the armorer makes her a new one. She wants the symbol of a mythosaur next to the symbol of the night owls on the other side, and then she says it, that she has seen a living one, which the armorer doesn't really buy, but gives us a foretaste of the direction the rest of the season will probably take. I must honestly say that this episode was rather lame for a mid-season finale, as it doesn't really advance the plot, which is of course overshadowed by the Great Order 66 scene. I have to say that Dave Filoni did a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he will work his magic in chapter 23, in which he is also involved. Here I have linked you another video. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.